Welcome aboard and happy holidays, everybody. It is the Unash and Dukes podcast coming your way here on YouTube, the Unash and Dukes podcast page, CRM Live Sports, our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, etc., etc. And Scott Unash, he's the very happy Mark Dukes of the playoff bound Chicago Bears, as you can see. He may sing during the podcast. Who knows? He may break out and bear down. I don't know. This is new territory. Ever since first time the Bears have been in the playoffs, did Nagy take them to the playoffs?
I think he did once.
By the way, Matt Nagy will be available for anyone here in about 2 weeks, as he will not have a job as the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs coming up in 2 weeks. And I don't think he's ready for another NFL head job. I'm off my soapbox now as the Chiefs lose to Tennessee Titans. God help us. Uh, Welcome aboard, as I mentioned, and the Unash and Dukes podcast brought to you and presented by Eagles Hideaway. And they're located right across from Lindale Mall on First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids. Happy holidays to all those folks. Jamie's not happy either about the Chiefs. They are open Monday through Saturday at 4 o'clock. And whether you've got family in town, great place to take them. Eagles Hideaway, something for everybody, all ages and tastes at a classic local American restaurant. So thanks to them. Thanks to Hunt Graphic Innovations, Dr. John Woolner at Epiphany Dermatology, Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance, and Bim Ritter Sportswear in downtown Cedar Rapids. Online at bimritter.com. Couldn't do it without all their great supports. And a few things to get to here today, Mark. And again, congratulations to your Chicago Bears for getting into the playoffs. They got their sights set on the number one seed in the tournament now.
Yeah, that's the appropriate background. Chiefs were done last week, or if not before. So let's talk about something somebody cares about, and that's playoff teams. Okay. Hey, so many crazy things happen in the NFL, and it's happened to the Bears this year. 6 wins in the last 2 minutes. Come on. That's never happened, probably. So I'm not naive enough to think that this is a Super Bowl front runner by any means. In fact, I wasn't relishing the thought of the Bears going into the last 2 weeks having to win because there was a scenario they could lose two and be out of the playoffs altogether. So thank you, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you very much. And the Pittsburgh Steelers for beating the Lions. And you know what? It's fun. It's crazy. It's nuts. We'll see what happens, but feel pretty good right now.
This has been a topsy-turvy year. I mean, you look
Yeah.
at it in the AFC, the Patriots are in, the Chargers, the Broncos, Steelers are looking pretty good. By the way, shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 22 straight years of a winning record. I think that is the most undervalued stat in professional sports. That is, and Mike Tomlin should be commended for what he has done and others in Pittsburgh. But to do in this era and to have that accomplishment for over 2 decades of having winning seasons with injuries, with different personnel, that is different coaches, that is amazing for Pittsburgh. And congratulations to them. Jacksonville, add them to the playoff list. And then, of course, you got the Bears. The Eagles are in there. The Eagles are always seemingly in there. 49ers are back in. And just, it is crazy how topsy-turvy this NFL has been so far this year. But we want to go to college football, Mark. College football, first round in the books. By the way, I could open a 900 number after calling both Alabama and Miami winning last week. But we'll digress on that. A lot of people up in arms, even more than last year, with the first round of the college football playoffs. You had one blowout, you had almost another somewhat blowout. Did have two very good games between the Power Four groups, and it is basically kicked off a lot of a new round, if you will, of conjecture as far as what should happen to the college football playoff. No one, I think very few people expected James Madison and Tulane to win their games. Um, but again, to have the blowouts that you had, even though James Madison put up some points against Oregon, a little bit of a suspect Oregon defense, but people are saying change needs to happen, Mark. And then what change will it be? So that's a good starting point for us today on the podcast.
Personally, I want the best teams in the tournament, whether it's 8, 12, 16, what have you. I want the best teams. And nobody can say, I don't think that Tulane and James Madison are among the best 12 teams, plain and simple. And this weekend, we got what we thought we would get, and that's two pretty good games and two laughers. Sure, James Madison scored a bunch of points after being 30 down. You're going to have that against the second and third teamers. But, and good for the Dukes. Good for the Dukes. But it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why it makes any sense to anybody. Why you give Tulane and James Madison and teams like that a seat at the table. They just don't deserve it. I don't care if they win their conference. It's not the same conference as the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. It's just very clear. I'm not breaking any new ground here, but I don't hear anybody wanting to change it. So we're going to get these types of games that were pretty much unwatchable, a couple of them.
A lot of people tuned out very early on the two games on TNT, et cetera, et cetera. But you have said it before many times, and we will compare it to the NCAA basketball tournament coming up in a little bit. But you've said it before, Mark. This is not the best 12 teams. We don't have the best 68 teams in the NCAA men's or women's basketball tournament either. I guess the debate is should you? And how do you arrive in football at the best 12 teams? If you go to 16 teams or, God forbid, 24 teams, how is that going to play out? Are you going to start having 8-4 SEC Big Ten teams in the college football playoff? Should an 8-4 team be allowed to be in the college football playoff? As of right now, the way it is built, you aren't going to have the best 12 teams. We didn't have the best 12 teams, and I don't know why people are surprised and up in arms about it, because this is the hand we are dealt right now.
Well, I think the debate over whether Notre Dame should have gotten into the field was, it may still rage, but Alabama and Miami validated themselves by winning on the road. And that's not easy to do. Um, just ask yourselves, would you rather have seen Notre Dame versus Oregon and BYU or Vanderbilt against Ole Miss rather than the games you got? Of course you would. Um, Now, once we've gotten past this first round, we've got four really good matchups, I think.
Very good matchups, and we can get into that more as they get closer. January 1st will be those. One on December 31st, but the other three on January 1st, 2026. But it opens up the debate on it. Interestingly enough, Mark, people are asking themselves, okay, is it time now for the Power Four to split away, to have a separate tournament, have a 1A, a 1 AA, a 1 AAA? Let's just put it that way with UNIs and the Missouri Valley Football Conference, which may be shrinking, by the way, because there are many, many rumors coming out of the Dakotas that one or two very powerful teams up there may be departing 1AA very soon.
That's because one of their Missouri Valley brethren is in the championship game, and it's not named Dakota.
It's Illinois State.
Uh,
good good job by the Redbirds, by the way, to get there. But a lot of people are calling for a separate tournament. If you recall, Mark, I asked basketball, and this is somewhat apples and oranges. I asked basketball analyst Mike DeCourcy that very same question. Now, 68 teams in a men's basketball tournament, different than 12 teams in a college football tournament, somewhat, but the groundwork is still there. And I asked him, and he said he's you remember, Mark, he has stopped me during the question and said, no, no, that will never happen. So why should it happen in football?
well, it's not apples and oranges because in football you got 12 of the what 120 Division One teams in the tournament,
Ish.
and in basketball you got 68 of 360. So it's not altogether different. And when it comes down to it, isn't that what it is anyway? Look at the 8 teams remaining. It's Power Four schools. Have a Power Four tournament and another five tournament, whatever they call it. I don't know if it will ever happen. I think it has merits in basketball, whatever Mike DeCourcy says. Um, because for every George Mason you have, you're going to have the Dukes and Carolinas and Michigans and whoever of the Power Four conferences winning the tournament. Um, it's all about giving everybody a seat at the table, and I'm not sure, what happened to the days when there's a kids' table at Christmas, huh?
I remember sitting at the kids' table. It's been a
I loved
while,
it.
but I remember sitting at the kids' table. Um, and it also comes down to money too. Let's not kid ourselves here. Um, Tulane and James Madison did just fine, by the way. They're getting a real, as Dean Martin from Back to School would say, it's a really big check
Hmm.
coming their way. And yeah, they got their brains beat in, but they A, had a chance, and B, they got paid to be there. Um, I'm not yet against one team, one group of five team getting a seat at the table in the college football playoff. I'm not to that point yet. It's only been 2 years. We haven't had a great group of five team yet. I think everybody would agree on that. James Madison and Tulane are really good football teams. Really good football teams. But they don't have 85 guys like Oregon does. They don't have 85 guys like Ohio State does, or Alabama does, or Texas A&M, or who have you. They just don't. Is there going to be that Boise team that beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl coming down the line sometime? Maybe. Um, I'm not ready to kick them out yet, especially when this thing goes to 16 in a couple years.
I'm ready to kick them out unless they're ranked in the top 12 or, you know, put a line of demarcation. If you're in the top 10 or 12 or whatever, depending on how many teams are in the tournament, you don't belong. These two teams got hammered. The James Madison Oregon game, the final score was deceptive. They got hammered, and so did Tulane. And every group of five school is going to get hammered. Except there's going to be an exception along the way if you continue to let these teams in the tournament. But by and large, they just don't belong. And until they earn their way, I don't think they deserve a seat at the table.
Will they ever get one in the top 12? I mean, it's going to have to be an undefeated team, right? And they're going to have to play a Power Four and beat a Power Four team sometime during the non-conference.
You say never. I mean, you remember when South Florida was really good and finished what, second or third in the country? McCarney might have been there. I can't remember for sure, but and you have your Boise States, but they're few and far between. So, it has to do with TV. It has to do with executives from the conferences. Whether grows into a Power Four tournament and a Group of Five tournament, I don't know, but I think you need to fix the one you have right now first, and then go from there.
What is too many? I gave the example of if there is a 16 team tournament, do you, there's going to be a four-loss team in there someday. And I just cannot envision a four-loss football team having an opportunity to win a national championship. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Alabama has three losses, right?
They have three.
And they're in the quarterfinals. And who's to say they won't beat Indiana?
I think
I
they
mean, that's a
will.
three loss versus four loss. I see what you're saying. You're talking about an Iowa with four losses.
Or anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody with four losses at this point. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough situation. I think ultimately, when we get the move from 12 to 16, which is going to come, that I think they're going to put something in there for it. I don't think we will ever see after this year two group of five teams ever in there again. I think that lid is shut in the kitchen on the old casserole. I think that's done because of what happened. You don't want two of those because you don't get the ratings, and it's all about TV, as we know. That's why Iowa basketball is playing a 4 o'clock game next Monday. Bad example, maybe. I don't know. And when people tune in to a one, let's just say one double A tournament, how many people are? It's football. We love football. Who's going to tune into a James Madison versus Tulane final?
I'll tell you what, if it means something, I watched the Iowa Central Junior College National Championship game. I watched the Montana State game for a little while.
That was fun.
If it means something and it's competitive, people are going to watch. I turned over to the James Madison Oregon game for like 3 minutes because it was already out of hand in the first half. Um, what good does that do for television?
There's Ron.
Sure enough, that was another reason.
And the Bear game did much better.
It's like, the Bears are like the NBA. You only need to tune in for the last couple minutes.
Very well. I don't know. There are a lot of questions out there. There are more questions than answers. By the way, if you want to go back to about eight between 7:45 and 8:20 Central Time on Friday night for a complete list of freezing takes for people just absolutely killing the college football playoff, killing the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah,
Oh, they came back and won.
it is so funny. I get so much enjoyment out of reading tweets. Alabama's down 17 to nothing. Kalen DeBoer is going to be fired. Notre Dame deserve to be in the field. You see the same thing in basketball games, probably more often in basketball games because teams come back so often. But I don't get people have to swallow their words more times than not. And frankly, I've had to do the same thing. I've learned, go ahead, make your comments after the game, not in the first quarter. Because football games are 60 minutes, basketball games are 40, and until they're done, they're not done. Right? Chicago?
Oh, true, true. Um, yeah, Alabama coming back to win um, was very good, and it was kind of a backwards of the first game between Alabama and Oklahoma. With Alabama should have won that game by 3 touchdowns and didn't, and Oklahoma probably should have won this one by 1 or 2 touchdowns and didn't. Um, Again, I will say it is not Alabama's fault that they are forced to play, or anyone. It could be this another scenario next year. If you are forced to play in a conference championship game with 2 losses, there's a good chance you're going to get a third loss.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be penalized for that myself. Unless you're three losses in there and then you lose your fourth, that's a different story. But Alabama 10-2 with they beat 5 top 25 teams during the year, including
Yeah.
at Georgia. Alabama deserved to be in the college football playoff. End of discussion.
Yeah. The good thing is, I think New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and we'll get into these closer to the games, but I really like all four of these matchups. I think they're going to be tremendous games.
Yeah, they're all going to be in big bowls, so there's not going to be a home field advantage. Although it didn't really work for Texas A&M or Oklahoma in the first round, as we saw. But I'm with you. I think these are going to be incredible games. Even, I mean, Alabama and Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Who would have pictured that 3 years ago? But that's what we have,
Your
and
Miami Hurricane, look out for the U, man. That's a good defense.
that defense is really good. I'm scouting right now, and I want one of those 2 rush ins for Miami. That would
They
be
wouldn't hurt. I know that.
a coup as far as that is concerned. Big thanks to Emil's Hideaway on First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids. And we told you about them earlier. Open at 4 o'clock Monday through Saturday, right across from the Lindale Mall and next to the Home Depot. And whether you're bringing in the whole family for a meal or wetting your whistle at their fully stocked bar, there's something to satisfy all ages and tastes at their classic local American restaurant. They have catering as well. So check them out for that. Also, thanks to Ben Ritter Sportswear, 817 2nd Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids, downtown. They are online at benritter.com, your one-stop store for screen print and embroidery for polos, t-shirts, hats, and more for any age, for your company or special event. Big thanks to Hunt Graphic Innovations and Todd Hunt. Happy holidays to him. You need assistance in graphic design for print, newsletters, posters, signs, or banners. Hunt Graphic Innovations has the experience to help get the job done, and they can help you with your website like they do with us at CRM Live Sports as well. Thanks to Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance, the sponsor of our Mark Ironside segment. We'll have Mark back in a couple weeks as we get closer to the Soldier Salute. But Kurt, right across from the Johnson Avenue Hy-Vee on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids. And Dr. John Wolner as well at Epiphany Dermatology on Council Street Northeast in Cedar Rapids with over 30 years of experience. And you can give him a call over there. Thanks to all of our great, great sponsors. Little bit of basketball before we get too far into it, into the podcast. Want to get to some pro football. It will be about the Bears a little bit. So we'll get to some football before we depart today as well. But first time in a while, Iowa and Iowa State men in the same AP top 25 basketball pool. Mark, Hawks sneak in at number 25. Iowa State moves up to number 3 after thrashing Long Beach State and the 49ers yesterday at Hilton Coliseum. And you and I at the top of the Missouri Valley, along with Belmont right now, and Drake getting their Missouri Valley Conference opening win on the road. It's a good time to be a basketball junkie in the state of Iowa on the men's side, isn't it?
And the women's side, no question about it. But Ben McCollum's group getting into the top 25 is a nice feather. Whether that remains the rest of the season, we'll see. Iowa opening Big Ten play against a UCLA team at home, I believe, right, Scott?
Yes.
After the 1st of January. And we'll see. Remember, Iowa State last year started off so strong and then it had a little bump in the road. I don't know if this team is going to have a major bump in the road. This is just a tremendous team, ranked either third or fourth in the country, depending on where you look. Iowa State, uh, I think opens against West Virginia. Darren DeVries in that group, but it's going to be a fun rest of the winter, I think, on the basketball floors.
Yeah. And Big 12 is tough. Arizona number one. Texas Tech came from 17 down to beat Duke, give the Blue Devils their first loss. There's not a there's probably not a real night off. West Virginia, probably not the best. Not Darren DeVries anymore, though. He's in Indiana,
Oh, how quickly we forget.
remember. Well, he was there a year.
As a son, yeah.
But West
Did a
Virginia's
little time travel there, Scott. Yeah.
West Virginia is a group that probably is going to be toward the bottom of the Big 12. Let's face
Yep.
it. But Iowa State, it's going to be. But listen, Iowa and Iowa State both going to suffer losses in their conferences. That's just the way it's going to go, and everybody's going to have that in the Power Five, as they like to say, in college basketball. Women's college basketball, we found out why UConn is number one over the weekend as they took it to Iowa. Iowa hung in there for a while, um, made a few threes, hung in there, were scrappy. But as somebody pointed out to me while they were watching the game and conversing with me on social network, they are a lot bigger than Iowa. And it's a UConn team that is just silly good. This is not a bad Iowa basketball team, and they at times made Iowa uh, just look like a JV team out there, and they're going to do that to a lot of people this year. I'm not ready to give them the national championship yet, but that was listen. It's what Jan Jensen thought it was going to be. We can learn from this if you're a Hawkeye fan and you go on after playing the best team in the country.
I mean, yeah, you're talking about the number 11 team in the country just getting absolutely dominated, especially in the second half, and that is Iowa. And Iowa's a good basketball team. I don't know if it's the best team in the Big Ten. I mean, Michigan played UConn to a 3-point game, but this UConn team, we've watched a lot of them over the years, Scott. 12 national championships for Gino, and uh, I think it has a chance to be as good as any of them. Just so good, so versatile, so deep, hurt you in so many ways. And Iowa, Layla Hayes had a pretty good game inside, but they pretty much neutralized that inside game that is so strong for Iowa with Hayden and Hayes. And the perimeter defense was great. So I think it is what we thought it would be going in. Win or lose, it was going to be a good experience for Iowa. And I think playing that kind of team and that kind of atmosphere, it's going to do nothing but help Iowa going forward.
Yeah, it's going to help them, and Hawks will bounce back. Great game between Iowa State and Kansas yesterday afternoon, Sunday afternoon at Hilton Coliseum to open up Big 12 play. Great to see Libby Fandel from Xavier, Iowa, Miss Iowa basketball from last year, do so well. Had a big contingent of people over there cheering her on, and 19 points for her, career high since she's been at Kansas. Audie Crooks, I would say, stole the show, but I think the shot at the end probably stole the show there. tell you what, more and more, Audie Crooks is not only first team All American, she is a in the short list and on the short list for National Player of the Year. She's getting she's learning how to play that post, and she's learning how to use her feet, and she's got that little fadeaway shot in there. Did get a couple of charges in there, but you know what? I think that's okay. You got to be able to, get down there, prove your medal every once in a while. Kansas didn't have their two bigs, which helped, but the third 40 plus point performance of the year for Audie Crooks.
Well, when you play man-to-man defense on Audie Crooks, she's going to score 40. She's just almost unstoppable around the rim within 5 feet. And that's what Kansas chose to do for whatever reason. You pick your poison with Iowa State. You try to limit Audie Crooks to 20 or in the 20s and have the other players beat them, or you do what Kansas did, and Kansas came right down to the wire. Uh, Kenzie Hare, three-pointer, beat Kansas, but uh, I don't know how far Iowa State will go, but I know it's going to go as far as Audie Crooks takes them. As far as Fandel goes, I mean, she has started from day one, I believe, at Kansas,
Most of the time.
and already a career high 19 points, and I think she had four threes. And you know, some people will say, "Well, why didn't you go to Iowa or Iowa State or whatnot?" And that's the old Rafe LaFrentz philosophy. Why do you leave the state? And why did Annie O'Neill leave back in the day and went to Illinois and out of Cedar Rapids, Kennedy, and another Cougar, Shelley Sheets, went to Colorado. Well, hey, what's up? Well, I think in terms of Iowa, might have had a glut at that position. Uh, and Fandel's recruitment, I don't know, but uh, they brought in Addie Deal and Mulaney and Stremlow and Journey Houston and Callie Levine. We'll see if Iowa missed the boat on Fandel, but the other part of that is I think Fandel liked Kansas,
Yeah.
and I think committed during the junior year, didn't she? Or towards
Uh,
the end of it?
it might have been toward before the senior year.
Yeah,
It was she had that volleyball basketball decision,
yeah.
and of course Morgan Page, the former Marion, I'll just say player. I didn't want to say what nickname it was when Morgan was playing. I can't
There's
remember
an
what
Indian. They were the Indians then.
were they the Indians back then? I can't even remember if how far back it was. Anyway, it probably was the Indians. And Marcus's sister, of course, assistant coach, who helped recruit Fandel,
Mhm.
and really, really, really nice staff over there. Got to talk to them a couple times last year at Kansas. So good people over there, and glad that she's doing well. And I'm sure Iowa State fans would love to see Libby do well every other game except the next one if they play Kansas twice, including down at Allen Fieldhouse. Hey, before we go, real quick, Mark, and this really involves both of our teams. It was just announced a couple hours ago. Pro Football Talk here before we leave. Uh, Looks as though the Kansas City Chiefs are vacating the Harry S. Truman Sports Complex on the Missouri side, and they're going to build a $3 billion dome stadium on the Kansas side of Kansas City. Most Chiefs fans and Chiefs Kingdom up in arms about this, about leaving Arrowhead Stadium, uh, arguably the loudest stadium in the world. It has the record still. But leaving that, especially after putting, oh gosh, what was it, 6 or 7 years ago, a hefty sum of money into refurbishing Arrowhead Stadium. It is one of the oldest stadiums in the NFL, along with your Soldier Field, even though it was refurbished a few years ago into the spaceship. But Um, your Bears also looking into moving out of Soldier Field. Cleveland is going to move out of downtown Cleveland, the way it sounds, to the suburbs. Um, does this take away from the Chicago Bears, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cleveland Browns, if they're playing outside the city? Um, I guess I got to think about it more because now that it is a reality, Clark Hunt is having a news conference as we speak, talking about the move to Kansas, but it's still the area. I mean, San Francisco moved to San Jose, basically. They're still the San Francisco 49ers. It's just a bigger footprint. First blush, I'm okay with it, I guess. Um, if you can get 70 years out of a stadium right now, Mark, you're doing well because life expectancy on these new stadiums is probably going to be about 20 to 25 years.
Yeah, it's just another example of nothing lasts forever. We've seen so many stadiums and being built and whatnot. I don't know where Chicago's going to end up. There was the Arlington Park, Arlington Heights talk, and now they're talking about Northwest Indiana, and who knows what's going to happen there. But the Kansas City situation, we're old enough to remember that, when Kauffman Stadium, is it still Kauffman Stadium? I don't know.
It is.
But the baseball stadium and Arrowhead being right next to each other pretty much, and so accessible off the interstate, it just served the area and the fans of those teams so well over the years that you hate to see it end. But times change. There's many reasons for a team to move, but um, keep it the Kansas City Chiefs, keep it the Chicago Bears. Whether the Bears are in Indiana and the Chiefs are in Kansas, they're still two iconic franchises, and keep it at that.
Buffalo's not in Buffalo.
Well, the Jets don't play in New York either.
No, they play in New
Well, they don't
Jersey.
play anywhere, but
Ooh. Yeah, I think it's just the way of now and in the future. Uh, Still not sure how I feel about a dome stadium, but oh well. Hey, at least I made it through a podcast as a Chiefs fan without tearing my ACL.
yeah.
So that's good news. Uh, yeah. Well, we will wish everyone a happy holiday slash Merry Christmas, etc. Because we'll be back on Friday with our next edition of the Unash and Dukes podcast. Look forward to that and all the subjects we'll be talking about coming up at that point.
Yeah, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and certainly thank our sponsors that you have a couple times and our listeners and help us grow this thing. And going into the new year, we got a lot of great things planned. But main thing is everybody have a happy holiday.
Indeed. Happy holidays to everybody out there. And we'll talk to you soon.
Got it.
All right. You've been listening and watching the Unash and Dukes podcast. Thank you so very, very much. And we'll see you next time.